Okay, now let's move on to calculation of figure of merit for frequency modulated signal. So likewise we were doing, we will first calculate SI by NI. So SI is calculated is here and NI is calculated here. So SI is SFMT is equal to the FM signal, standard FM signal. We know that it is written as AC cos 2 pi FCT plus KF integration of MT dt. Now in FM signal, whatever we do through the phase. Okay, the amplitude is always AC. So in this case you can say the SI is AC square divided by 2. Since it is a cosine signal, we don't have to bother about what is inside. For calculating the power of FM signal, only the amplitude is required, that is AC. So amplitude is square divided by 2, that is AC square divided by 2. Now if you want to calculate NI is, we know some SS signal which will be having minus W to W bandwidth. Okay, so your noise will acquire this bandwidth with N0 by 2 amplitude. So minus W to W, that is 2W into N0 by 2, that will be your noise power. Okay, so this will be your NI. So it comes out to be AC square divided by 2 N0 W, AC square divided by 2 and N0 W from here. So SNR at the input, you can say AC square divided by 2 N0 W. Okay, now we will calculate S0 and N0. Okay, now let's calculate the values of S0 and N0. So we will see the detector here. So FM signal is coming from here, and noise which is having power spectral density N0 by 2 for all frequencies coming from here. It goes through band pass filter whose frequency range is from minus BT by 2 to BT by 2, and it will be centered at FC. Okay, so it is like FC plus minus BT by 2. So FC plus BT by 2, FC minus BT by 2. Okay, so the one in positive side, positive frequency side, similarly on negative frequency side. So this BT is coming from Carson's rule. Okay, since the bandwidth of FM signal comes from Carson's rule, which is BT is equal to 2FM beta of FM plus 1. Okay, so that is the bandwidth of FM signal. So that is why our band pass filter's bandwidth is also BT by 2. BT. Okay, so BT by 2 and BT by 2. So you can see the bandwidth is BT. Okay, now this is our detector PLL. I am representing this signal as XT and this signal as output of PLL is VT, and there is a low pass filter who consists the bandwidth of message signal. Okay, W, you can see. So now what will happen, the output at the output of this low pass filter we have to calculate S0 divided by N0. Now I can write this signal XT as ST plus NT, where ST will be FM signal. If it will pass through band pass filter, it will be still FM signal here because the bandwidth is same as this guy. Okay, so ST will be same, NT will come from here and it will be restricted to bandwidth of BT, but it will be similar to narrow band noise, so it is NT. I can write here the noise is narrow band noise. Okay, so now I will plug the values. AC cos 2 pi FCT plus KF integration MTTT plus N1 cos 2 pi FCT minus NQ sin 2 pi FCT. Okay, so this here I can write this term as phi of t, KF integration MTDT as phi of t, and here I can apply A cos theta minus B sin theta, from which I will get amplitude RT cos 2 pi FCT plus psi t. This is phi t, this is psi t, where RT is under root NQ square plus NI square and psi t is tan inverse NQ by NIT. Okay, now don't bother about this negative sign. This will bring here positive and it will be easier to draw in the phasor diagram. Okay, that is why I have taken negative. It will not affect anything because it's a noise term. You can take negative. This is our main part where message is hidden. Okay, so we have to extract this. this negative sign will lead to this positive sign here, and it will be easier to draw the phasor diagram. So we will represent this signal through phasor diagram for better understanding and to move on further. Okay, so I've made the free phasor diagram here, you can see. So this is the reference phasor, which is our signal part. Amplitude is AC, phase is phi t. Since we are doing phasor diagram, we will deal with phasor, phase and the amplitude. So amplitude is AC and phase we are considering it for phi t. Okay, this is has phi t, phase, reference. Okay, now we have to draw this RT with phase psi t. RT I have drawn like this with psi t. So this is psi t. Since your reference is already having phase phi t, that is why this angle is psi t minus phi t. Similarly here also, since this reference is phi t, hence this angle is here is theta t minus phi t. Okay, so this is your this signal, this line is this signal, and resultant is xt. Okay, and angle is with respect to psi t, sorry phi t. Okay, that's how you can imagine. Now I'm gonna calculate this angle. Okay, now look at this part here. Okay, so this is the angle between these two. Okay, so that is theta minus phi t, theta minus phi t. You can calculate by using the tan relation. Perpendicular upon base is tan theta. Okay, so not tan theta, tan theta minus phi t. So tan theta minus phi t, if I'll write, so tan inverse I have written here, theta t minus phi t I have written here, base upon perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular is this guy, base is this much. Okay, so this distance is your base, this is your perpendicular. Now you have RT, this is the RT line. You can use sin theta and cos theta. So RT sin psi t minus phi t will be this line. Since the angle is psi t minus phi t, so R sin phi t minus psi t and R cos psi t minus phi t. Okay, this will be base, this will be perpendicular here. Now we want this base, so this is AC, so total will be AC plus RT cos psi t minus phi t. This is what I have written here. This is RT sin psi t minus phi t, base, sorry, perpendicular, and then base is AC plus RT cos psi t minus phi t. This will be your angle. Okay, this angle you have calculated at tan inverse RT sin psi t minus phi t divided by AC plus RT cos psi t minus phi t. Now why we are interested in this angle? Because this is the phase of xt which we want. Why? Because if you will pass the signal xt from PLL, it will respond to the phase of this xt. More specifically, what should I say? It will differentiate the phase of xt PLL at the output. Okay, so that is why we have calculated the phase of xt. Okay, now let's move on. So you have the phase of xt as theta is equal to phi t plus tan inverse RT sin psi t minus phi t divided by AC plus RT cos psi t minus phi t. Phi t I have transferred to this side, that is how you see. So theta is t is the angle, actually phase of xt. Since phi t was just a reference signal, so that is why I kept here. Actually we are interested in this guy. Now before we move on to Vt, first we make some approximation to our advantage. Okay, which is we assume that the carrier signal, the carrier amplitude is very greater than or very large than RT. Okay, so it's like assuming the carrier to noise ratio is very high at the input of the PLL, higher than very much higher than 1. That is why you can assume AC is way higher than RT, and you can ignore this term in the denominator. Okay. Second thing, if your AC is too high with respect to this, you can ignore this term, but at the same time, if AC is too high, your theta will be very less. The whole angle will be very less, and in that case you can assume that tan inverse theta will be approximately equal to theta if theta is small. Okay, so because of AC you will have this angle very less, and in that case you can write tan inverse theta approximately equal to theta. So this is the one approximation we do. Okay, the carrier signal's amplitude is way higher than RT's, and that is the reason you can make this approximation, and you will get finally theta t is equal to phi t plus RT divided by AC, RT divided by AC sine phi t minus sine psi t minus phi t. Okay, so this is what you will get after making approximation, and this will be applied to PLL, and you will get VT. So we'll see what will be the VT. Let's move on. So your VT will be differentiation of the phase of xt, which is theta t differentiation. Since the variation, this theta is in omega domain, so that is why I have divided it by 1 by 2 pi, so that the variation will be in frequency domain. Now if you plug the value of theta t here, 2 pi kf integration mt dt, this is your phi t, okay, plus RT divided by AC sine psi t minus phi t. Okay, so if you differentiate this, you will get kf mt, 2 pi will get cancelled, kf integration will lose, so mt plus this whole term, differentiation of whole term divided by 2 pi, we are representing at nd of t. Now this thing is 1 by 2 pi AC d by dt of RT sine psi t minus phi t. Now here there is a confusing approximation, that this term is approximately equal to sine of psi t. So I will give you the reference from where I am teaching this. I was really not convinced with the reason, but this is how the proof goes. The steps goes. Okay, so we assume that psi t is very greater than phi t, and this approximates to sine psi t. Okay, so this is one more approximation that we do, and then our signal becomes what? Kf m of t plus 1 by 2 pi AC d by dt of r of t sine psi t. This is one approximation we do. Although I was not convinced with the reason why they have taken this assumption, but I'll give you the source at the end, so you can look up to it, and maybe you will also get convinced. But this is how the proof goes. Okay, this sine psi t minus phi t is approximately equal to sine psi t. Okay, and in this case you will get the term like this. So if you will see, this RT sine psi t is your NQT, the quadrature component of NT. Okay, so now we will move on with this. Okay, with this approximation, I'll give you the source as well. Okay, now let's move on. So we have Vt is equal to Kf mt plus 1 by 2 pi AC d by dt of NQT. Now this is your message part, and this will be your noise part. Okay, so you can calculate S0 and N0 from here. So for message signal, power can be easily calculated. Just square this term, that is Kf square m square t, which is Kf square p. So you got your S0. Now you have to calculate N0, and this will be calculated from this term. Okay, so if you look closely, it is like NQT is passing through a filter with response 1 by 2 pi AC d by dt, and at the output what you will get, the Fourier transform of this term mod square into the power spectral density of NQ of t. Okay, so this is what I've written. So mod of e square j omega, since the d by dt Fourier transform of d by dt is j omega, and j omega is j 2 pi f, divided by 2 pi AC mod square into power spectral density of NQT. Okay, so that is how you can calculate the power spectral density of this term. Okay, which I am representing by S NdF is equal to mod square j 2 pi f divided by 2 pi AC into SNQF. Okay, so your SNDF will be, since 2 pi will get cancelled, mod will take care of this j, so at the output you will get F square divided by AC square, and this is power spectral density of quadrature component NQT. Okay, so now we will move on from here. So since we have got S naught, we just have to calculate N naught. Okay. Okay, moving on. So one thing I forgot to mention, that Vt is equal to Kf Mt plus 1 by 2 pi AC d by dt NQT. I have calculated the power of this, which is true. Okay, because this term will be passed through LPF. Okay, and it has message bandwidth of message signal only, so that is why this signal will be passed, and the signal power at the output will be Kf square into P only. Okay, we are analyzing right now this term here, and we will analyze here as well this term, but this term will be same here and here as well. That is why the signal power is fine, Kf square P. Now looking into this term, what we got Sn df is equal to F square divided by AC square SNQF. Now we want this term, which is power spectral density of quadrature component. So if you remember this diagram where we used NT with multiplied with 2 sin 2 pi FCT, you got LPF, and at the output of LPF we were getting NQT. Okay, so now I want to mention here NT, we know that is narrow band noise, whose power spectral density is not F. So luckily you got a power spectral density here. Okay, but here you don't have. Here you have 2 sin 2 pi FCT, so you have to first convert into Fourier domain and then take the mod and then take the square. That's what I did. So I represented sin 2 pi FCT in Fourier domain, that is del F minus FC minus del F plus FC divided by 2j. 2 will get cancelled with this guy here. Okay, there was a 2, these two got cancelled, and this delta is delta function, impulse function. Okay, and I've taken the mod and square, so that power spectral density will come here. By taking Fourier transform we got our power spectral density, but here we have to calculate. So if you take the mod, j will be removed, and we will only take mod of these two terms and square. So we can apply a square, a minus b whole square, so a square plus b square minus 2ab. Okay, mod I have taken. Now if you look at this term, this has del f minus fc and del f plus fc. These two terms will always be either 1 or 0. One will be 1 or other will be 0, or both will be 0. They will only be 1 when fc will be 0. Okay, and fc we can't keep 0 because it's a carrier frequency, it's very high, and if we'll keep fc is equal to 0, then there is no point, like we will be killing carrier, and hence we will be killing the transmission. Okay, so other than 0 value, these two terms will not be giving any values. One will be 0, one will be giving some value, but both will not give some value. Either this will be 0, either this will be 0, or either both will be 0, but both will not give any value other than 0, except frequency fc equal to 0. Okay, that is how you can see. So this term will get 0 whole term, and this square and square will get inside, and it will not affect it. So we will be getting del f minus fc plus del f plus fc. Squaring and taking the mod will not change the frequency range. Okay, so we can say del f minus fc plus del f plus fc. This mod square will come like this and this mod square will come like this. So since you are multiplying here in time domain, in frequency domain, it will convolve, and what you will get, s naught f plus fc and plus s naught f minus fc here. Okay, and then you can pass it through LPF. So it is same as is what we were doing in when we were multiplying with 2 cos 2 pi fct. So it's like shifting the s naught f right, left, and add them. Okay, so that's how things work. And yeah, now we will move on and show the diagrammatically how we can obtain the power of S and Q F.